APS professional Angel Vasquez has been assigned the case of Noah Jackson, a 76-year-old widowed male who lives alone in a senior living apartment complex. Noah was referred to APS regarding allegations of financial abuse and self-neglect.
What do you want?
Hello, are you Noah Jackson?
Yep. Can I help you? I'm in the middle of something.
My name is Angel Vasquez. I'm a social worker with the county.
Is that supposed to mean something to me?
I'm sorry to disturb you. Like I said, I'm a social worker with the county.
No, you said that already.
Well, there's something important I'd like to talk to you about.
Go ahead. It's a free country. Speak your piece.
Well, I'm wondering if it might be better if we speak inside. May I come in, please?
Let me see that ID thingy again. Yeah, well, all right. Come on. But can you make it quick?
Thank you. I appreciate it. Is there anyone else here or any animals I should know about?
No, it's just me.
Like I said, my name is Angel Vasquez. Here's my card. You can call me Angel. How should I address you?
You can call me Noah.
Is it okay if we sit while we talk?
Can you first tell me what this is about?
Yes, of course. As I mentioned, my name is Angel and I'm with Adult Protective Services. We received a report of concern about you and I'd like to discuss those concerns with you, if that's okay.
Concerns about what?
Well, that someone might be taking advantage of you financially, and there's some safety concerns as well. I'd like to talk to you about this and ask you some questions. I'm also interested in hearing if there are any difficulties that you might be experiencing, and if so, I'd like to help you resolve them or offer some help in other ways.
Well, okay. Go ahead and have a seat.
Thank you. I'd like to start by explaining a little bit about what our program is and how it works. Our goal at Adult Protective Services is to reduce abuse and risk for older adults and adults with disabilities. Sometimes people make reports to us when someone might be at risk or in need of services. We respond by visiting that person, just like I'm visiting you today. I'll ask you some questions and listen to your concerns and offer some resources that might be helpful. Does that sound okay?
Well, I'll reserve judgment. You go ahead.
One of the concerns reported to APS is that you might be getting taken advantage of financially. We call this financial exploitation. It could be by someone you know, or it could be a complete stranger. What are your thoughts about this?
I don't know what you're talking about. Nobody's stealing anything from me.
Financial exploitation can take many forms. It doesn't have to be direct theft. Have you done any spending recently that might seem out of the norm for you?
I haven't spent any money on anything.
You said that you haven't spent any money on anything. How about anyone?
No, well, except for Tina.
Who is Tina?
She's my girlfriend.
How long have you two been together?
Not too long, just a few months, I guess.
How did you two meet?
It was a surprise to me, actually. Now, out of the blue, she messaged me on social media. So I messaged her back.
And then what happened?
She seemed really nice. We started messaging each other back and forth, just casually at first. And then after a while, she said she thought I was nice. And she told me she thought she could trust me. And other things that made me feel good. And that's how I found out she was single and that she was frustrated in not being able to find any nice men to date. Not long after that, things sort of kind of got serious. The next thing you know, we decided to take our relationship to the next level.
Have you ever met Tina in person?
Not yet. We've messaged each other, and I've seen pictures of her on social media. But no, we haven't yet met up in person. We planned to several times, but something always seems to come up. So, no, I've not actually met her in person.
Can you tell me more about the money that you've spent on her?
Oh, that's funny. At first, money was never part of the conversation. But here lately, she's had a run of bad luck that's really put her in a financial bind. And some of these issues are getting in the way of our plans to move in together. So I sent her some money.
What kinds of issues?
Now, you wouldn't believe the run of bad luck she's had. First, her car needed repairs. Then she needed money to help her daughter get out of an abusive situation. Now, Tina really loves her daughter so much. And she was in a terrible situation, and she needed to get her daughter out of there. I felt really bad for her, for both of them. Oh, and then her dog needed surgery.
How much money have you sent to her?
About $12,000.
Okay. Thank you for telling me about this. Can I ask how you sent the money to her?
It was some kind of money app on my phone. I'm not too tech savvy, and I couldn't figure out how to do it. So Tina told me how to do it.
Do you still have the app on your phone?
Sure.
Can you show it to me? Oh, I see. Noah, thank you for telling me about Tina and for giving me the background on your relationship. To be honest, the story raises a lot of red flags for me.
Red flags? What do you mean?
Well, how sure are you that Tina is actually who she claims to be?
Are you saying she's not real? Of course she's real. I got all these messages.
Noah, I understand that Tina seems like a real person to you, and maybe she is, but with the rise in popularity of these social media platforms, we've seen a huge uptick of what we call romance scams. Are you familiar with these?
Well, I've never heard of romance scams. Are you saying Tina's a scammer?
I'm saying that based on what you've told me, it's a distinct possibility.
Tina? A scammer? I just don't believe it.
Noah, let me start by saying you are not alone. Many people have been targeted by these scammers who are very skilled at gaining trust and manipulating emotion. Oftentimes, the scammer is not who they say they are. These scams are designed to feel very real. They use affection, attention, and false promises to build a connection.
Wow. What a dope I was. I really thought we had something here.
Noah, you're not a dope. You're a victim. And again, you're not alone. That's how these scams operate. They gain your trust and get your hopes up, and then the hardship stories start and the subtle requests for money. These scams are deceitful, and moreover, they're criminal. My primary concern right now are your remaining finances. I'd like to take some steps to help you protect your money. How does that sound?
Well, okay. If that's what we have to do.
I'd like to ask you some questions to better understand how you're doing in certain areas of your life, like your health, your cognition, and your social support. How does that sound?
Oh, whoa. No. Why do you need all that? What does that have to do with romance scamming?
Great question. I appreciate you asking. It helps me to know how you're doing, your overall wellness, to find out what you might need, and how well you can protect yourself from being financially exploited. We talked about the possibility that you might be involved in a romance scam, and I'd like to help you with that situation. Additionally, depending on what your needs are, I can provide you with some resources and make some referrals for you for services that might be helpful.
Okay.
I'd like to start with your physical health. Do you have a primary care physician?
Yeah, I got a doctor, if that's what you mean. I can't remember her name at the moment.
Are you being treated for any medical conditions?
I got swollen feet. I take a water pill for that, and I take medication for my heart.
Are these your medications?
Yeah, that's them.
May I have a look at the bottles?
Sure.
This one here says Dr. Margaret Sullivan. Is that your primary care doctor?
Yeah, that's her.
This other one says Dr. Hamad Ghazi.
He's my heart doctor.
Okay, thank you. Noah, how do you manage your medications?
What do you mean?
Do you manage your medications on your own?
You mean, do I take my medications? Yeah, I take my medications. Sometimes I forget, but I usually remember to take them.
How do you get refills?
Well, once in a while, my niece comes by and she helps me call in the prescriptions, take me to the pharmacy.
I'm glad you have some help with that. In addition to getting your prescriptions, are there any other areas that you can think of that you might need some help with to help you in taking care of yourself?
Well, I usually take care of myself. Well, I don't drive anymore, so I need help getting around.
What about when your niece comes?
Well, she can only come by once in a while, and I'm grateful for that. But sometimes I run out of food and stuff like that.
What kinds of food do you have now? May I look in your refrigerator?
Sure. Don't mind the mess in the kitchen. Well, I'm a little low. My neighbor brought me over some food she cooked. She does that once in a while.
How would you feel about receiving home-delivered meals? The senior center here has a really great program. I could make that referral for you.
Well, it depends on how much it costs.
Well, the fees are based on a sliding scale, which means that they're based on your income. I'll know more when I gather your income information. I think we'll find they're very affordable. I'd like to switch gears now and ask you some questions about your memory. How does that sound?
Sure. You think I'm losing my mind?
No, not at all. Assessing your cognitive functioning, your memory is a regular part of our assessment. When a person experiences changes in memory or thinking, it could cause them to be at a higher risk, more vulnerable to being taken advantage of. So it's important to take a look at it. Have you noticed any changes in your memory or thinking?
Well, when you get to be my age, you're bound to forget a few things.
What kinds of things?
Appointments, places I need to be, stuff like that.
Mind if I ask you some questions about that? What is your full name and date of birth?
Noah William Jackson, born November 14th, 1949.
You mentioned your niece. What is her first and last name?
Shelley. I'm not sure what last name she's using now.
And can you tell me where we are right now? Your address?
1792 Orange Avenue, apartment 215, San Diego.
State and zip code?
California, 92 something.
Can you tell me today's date?
Aren't we in May?
Close. We're in June. Can you tell me what year we're in?
2024?
Close. It's 2025. Can you tell me what season we're in?
Spring.
Yes, technically we are still in spring, but it's June, so it's almost summer. You're doing great. Now, can you tell me why I'm here right now and what concerns we're discussing today?
Well, you're worried about me. You're here to help. You're with Adult Protective Services.
Perfect, and great use of those resources. And I appreciate you being open to the help and for letting me ask you all of these questions. When a person is being financially abused, it's helpful to know how effectively they can think through decisions. Do you mind if I ask you some questions about how you're handling and thinking through the situation with Tina and maybe about a few other things? Okay, let's talk about Tina. You said that you sent money to Tina for various reasons. Can you tell me more about your decisions to send the money?
Well, she was so nice to me at first. We developed a relationship and we're making plans to move in together. Her needing money just seemed like a run of bad luck. Things all falling down at once. If we could just get through her problems, we could move forward on making our own plans. I still feel like she's real and she really needed the money. Are you sure she's not real?
Yes, pretty sure. Can you think of anything that would have caused you to hesitate in sending her the money?
Well, I guess if I thought about it more, I guess there never was any real proof of who she was or what was going on, other than her word for it.
How would you respond if Tina asks you for money again?
And part of me would say no. I really don't know who this person is or what's going on, but part of me would say yes, because I think we really love each other, and she said she'd always be there for me.
What would the potential consequences be of sending her more money?
Well, I don't have much money. I already sent her a large chunk of my life savings, and I might need money for myself. Things are getting more expensive, too.
Sending money to someone you've never met, is that something that you would do in any other situation?
Well, no, not that you put it that way. It doesn't make any sense. I don't know why I did it. I was lonely. I felt she really cared about me.
Thank you for your willingness to have this conversation with me, and I appreciate how difficult it must be. Is there anything else that you want to tell me about this?
Well, I was married for 27 years before I lost my wife. We were always careful with our money. I didn't gamble, not even the lottery. We were careful with our money. This stuff about sending money to someone for this and that, I would never do anything like that. I don't know what got into me.
Well, I'm glad that we're talking about it now, and I have some ideas of how to help you with this situation. Would you be willing to take some steps to protect your money?
What kind of steps?
For one, by removing the app off of your phone that you've been using to send the money. You could also consider stopping contact with Tina. Is that something that you'd be willing to do?
I don't know about that. She relies on me for moral support with everything she's going through.
Remember how we discussed that Tina might not be who she says she is? It's possible that she's a criminal posing as a woman who's interested in you, pretending to care about you.
That's hard for me to believe. She sent me a picture of herself and her dog and everything. You don't know her like I do.
That's how these scammers operate. They get you to believe that they're a real person who cares about you. I am so sorry that someone might be doing this to you. You deserve companionship and social support, but it needs to be with a real person who truly cares about you and not just your money. I have a suggestion. What if you hold off on sending Tina any more money until you can meet her in person and get to know her better? Then you can decide if you want to continue or not.
I don't know about that. I really don't think she's scamming me, and I really want to help her.
I I know that you do, and it seems like you really care about her. How about this? What if you just take a short break from sending Tina any more money and just see how she reacts? It might make you feel more confident that she's a real person, or it might show you that she is scamming you.
I could try that. But God, I hope you're wrong.
Well, I'm really glad that you're willing to try this out, and it's a really big first step. If you were to remove the app off your phone, do you know how to do it?
I didn't know how to put it on. How would I know how to take it off?
Would you like me to show you how? So you just press here, see, and then once you press confirm, the app is deleted. Should we go ahead and delete it now, and then once you see how Tina reacts to you not sending any more money, or if you meet her in person, then you and I can reassess your decision.
Well, okay.
What if Tina were to come back and ask you for more money? What would you say?
I'd just tell her flat out, no, I can't send any more money. I have no more money to send, even though I do. But she doesn't have to know that.
I think that sounds like a good plan. You said that in the past that you were always careful with your money. How do you feel like you're managing your finances now?
Well, my Social Security gets deposited directly into my bank account. I basically use that to pay for my rent and anything else.
Besides your Social Security, do you have any other sources of income?
I worked for the city for a number of years, so along with my Social Security, I receive a small pension.
You mentioned that you use your Social Security to pay your rent and other bills. What is your system for budgeting and paying your bills?
Well, you wouldn't call it a system, really. I call it a goes in, goes out system. The money goes into the bank, and if I have a bill or anything, it goes out. The hope is that there'll be something left over at the end, if there is anything left over.
Do you ever overdraw your account?
I have never overdrawn my checking account, not once in my life. Well, until recently, I got a notice from the bank. I accidentally spent more from my checking than I had. I should have transferred some money from my savings before I spent so much from my checking.
Have you resolved the overdraft with the bank? Is everything taken care of?
Yeah, they charged me a fee. I don't know why they did that. This is my first time ever.
Would you like some support managing your finances?
I don't think so. I've always done okay by myself.
Do you have anyone in your life that you could trust to help you with this?
Not really. Got no kids, just my niece, and she's busy with her own life and kids.
If we were able to identify a trusted person, would you be willing to appoint that person your power of attorney, or what we often call a POA, to help you manage your finances and protect your money?
No, not really. I think I'm doing okay on my own.
Okay, I respect your decision, but think about it and we can always circle back. How does that sound?
Sounds good.
Okay. In the meantime, here is a booklet that speaks to the services and the resources that we spoke about today. Okay, Noah. I know that I've been taking up a lot of your time today, and I appreciate you allowing me to ask you all these questions.
You're welcome. Does that mean you're almost done?
Yes, we're nearly there. I would just like to better understand how you're caring for yourself here in the home. You said that you would be open to receiving home-delivered meals, and I'd like to make that referral for you. Does that sound okay?
Sure. Just let me know how much it will cost.
I sure will. You mentioned that you sometimes forget to take your medications. This is concerning because one of your medications says that it's to remove excess fluid from your body, and your ankles and your feet appear to be swollen. How do you remember to take your medications? Do you have a system to help you remember?
I don't know if you'd call it a system. I just set them over there, and when I see them, it reminds me to take them.
How would you feel about having someone to come in, help you around the house, and remind you to take your medication?
Sounds expensive.
It could be, but fortunately for us, there's a program here that specializes in services for older adults. Just like with the meals, these services could be free to you or sliding scale based on your income. Do you think you might be interested?
I don't know. Could you tell me more about it?
Here is a list of the caregiver services that they provide. Oh, and they also offer transportation to their center for meals and other activities. And there's a nurse and a doctor on site for any needs that you might have in that area. How does that sound?
Well, I'll think about it.
Okay, well, I'll leave that with you so you can think about it. Oh, and I think you can arrange a visit to their facility for, to check it out and meet some of the staff there to see if it's something you might be interested in. I think they'll even include a free lunch during your visit.
Did anyone ever tell you there's no such thing as a free lunch?
Okay, so part of our assessment is to assess the overall safety of the home.
I feel safe at home. This is a good neighborhood.
That's great, but I'm referring to the safety of your home environment. How safe you are around the house, are there things you might trip over, that sort of thing. Do you mind if I have a look around your apartment?
I suppose. Don't mind the mess.
I'm noticing this pile of mail here. Can you tell me more about this paperwork?
Well, I don't have any family or friends to send me mail, so I reckon that's all junk. It just piles up there, and when it spills over to the floor, I just toss it out.
I see. Is that maybe what happened to the overdraft notice from the bank that you talked about?
Well, that's likely. I don't know what half that junk is.
I understand how that could be overwhelming. If you decide to have someone help you manage your finances, they could help you sort through a lot of that stuff. There's also ways to opt out of receiving junk mail. I could help you with that.
Yeah, I'll up for that.
Do you mind if I have a look in your bedroom and bathroom area?
I don't mind the mess.
I'm noticing a large pile of clothes on the floor in your bedroom.
Yeah, well, I got a little behind in the wash. I got ready to run a load, and I saw a leak behind the machine, and I haven't used it since.
Have you called anyone to get it fixed?
No, I keep forgetting to call. Plus, it's probably going to be expensive.
Well, I'm guessing you have a maintenance department here at the apartment complex. I'm sure they could have a look at it for you.
I wouldn't know anything about that.
Well, maybe we can find the phone number for maintenance and give them a call. Noah, I'd like to talk to you about something else. You mentioned that you sometimes feel overwhelmed, and I understand that some of the things that we've talked about can be a little upsetting as well. Sometimes when people feel overwhelmed, it can make them feel sad, and those feelings of sadness can lead to feelings of hopelessness or thoughts of not wanting to be here. Have you had any thoughts like these?
You mean like hurting myself?
Yes, that's what I mean. Have you had any thoughts of hurting yourself or taking your own life?
No. I feel sad sometimes. I felt that way for a while after I lost my wife, but I decided I could never do anything like that because of my faith. Also, I got Tina, and the plans we make made me feel better. But I guess that's all over with now. It felt good to be needed again.
I appreciate your willingness to have this conversation. Would you be willing to speak with someone, a professional, about these difficult feelings you've been experiencing?
You mean like a shrink?
Yes. Well, we call it counseling or therapy. A counselor could help you navigate through some of these tough feelings in regards to the situation with Tina or other things in your life in general.
Well, I'll think about it.
Okay. Well, thank you for considering it. I'll get you some resources and we can talk about it the next time we speak.
Next time?
Yes. if you'd be willing, I'd like to speak to you again to talk in more detail about some of the things that we've discussed today.
I'm open to that.
This is the Crisis Lifeline phone number, 988. Would you be willing to call or text this number if you feel hopeless or suicidal?
Yes. I'll put it right here where I can find it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hi, Angel. Come on in.
Do you have a minute? I have a case I'd like to discuss.
Sure. What you got?
This is about Noah Jackson. I visited him yesterday. He's a 76-year-old widowed male who's on a fixed income and lives alone in his apartment. I'm really concerned about him. I think he might be involved in a romance scam. He sent a person he knows as Tina about $12,000 so far. He seems to understand that it could be a scam, but there's a part of him that wants to believe that this person is real and cares about him. He's never met this person in real life. They keep hitting him up with hardship stories about needing money, and he's been sending it. He seems to be welcoming the relationship with Tina, and I'm worried that he's being deceived. I'm also worried about his emotional well-being and his finances being drained.
Yes, thank you for shining a light on this situation. This does sound troubling. How's his cognition?
Questionable. A bit of a gray area. That's actually what I wanted to discuss. So he's oriented to person, somewhat to place, partially to time and date, and oriented to situation. I asked him some more questions about his ability to manage his money and resist sending money to someone that he's never met. It just seemed out of line with how he's lived his life so far. He also overdrew his account, which is way out of his normal pattern of managing money.
And what has he said about the situation?
On the one hand, he acknowledges the deceit, but on the other hand, he says that he still believes that this person is real and cares about him. I'm concerned that he may continue to be targeted for money. He seems to understand that he needs to hang on to his money, but there's a part of him that is hesitant to end contact with this person. He can, on some level, acknowledge the consequences of his actions, but I'm not sure that he can effectively manage his money or protect himself from being scammed.
That does sound like a gray area. I can certainly understand what's driving your apprehensions. Would you say he lacks decision-making ability then around his finances?
I think it's questionable, but yes, based on his actions and some other information, I think he does lack solid decision-making ability.
What other information?
He's overdrawn his account. He's sent more money to this person than he can really afford. He's overwhelmed by his mail, and he's having some memory issues in general. He doesn't really have a solid system in place to manage his bills and his finances. I'm a bit worried about his ability to care for himself in the areas of meals, medication management, general housekeeping, and cleanliness. Like, his washing machine is broken, his laundry is piling up, and he hasn't taken any steps to get it fixed.
Okay. Yeah, it sounds like there's some issues going on and some possible cognitive impairment. What interventions do you think are needed?
Well, I'm wondering if I should make a referral to the public guardian.
I don't think we're there just yet. He would have to be declared unable to manage his finances or make financial decisions in his own best interest, and it doesn't sound like this case quite is at that point yet. We need to start with the least restrictive interventions first. The idea would be to get him connected with voluntary services, like POA, if he's able to appoint a POA at this time.
We touched on the idea of a POA during the assessment.
Oh, great. Does he have a trusted person he can appoint as POA?
No, he doesn't have any children, and there's a niece, but she's not able to help him to that degree. I'd like to get him connected with a legal advocate to help him navigate the situation. He may have enough income and assets to hire a professional fiduciary.
Yeah, that sounds like a good first step. We could also arrange for a capacity evaluation by a psychologist. Having that information would be helpful in justifying any services or interventions we may need to pursue. Do you think he'd agree to being evaluated?
It would likely take some more discussion with him.
Well, if he will agree to the capacity evaluation, then it would be good to have that information in case we need to go a different route. But as much as possible, we want to involve him in the decision making. Do you think he'll agree to appoint a POA?
He's understandably a little bit resistant to giving up control of his finances, but on some level realizes that he needs help. It's on the agenda to talk about when I speak with him again.
Okay, so let's discuss next steps. First, if he'll agree, let's get him connected with a legal advocate that can guide him with appointing a POA. And let's see if he'll agree to the capacity evaluation. And what can be done in the meantime to protect his money?
Well, he deleted the app that he was using to transfer the money off of his phone, which I think is a really positive first step and an inkling that deep down he realizes that he's been scammed. Of course, that doesn't preclude him from putting the app back on. They walked him through it the first time and could easily do it again.
That's a good start. Is there a way to flag his bank account to prevent any further app transactions?
I spoke with a contact that we have with his bank, and we spoke in generalities since they don't have a release to provide me with account information for this person. They said that they can't directly block or reverse the transactions, which are considered peer-to-peer. They could freeze his account if he reports fraud, but I don't know how helpful that would be considering that he needs access to his account to be able to pay his bills, and the exploitation could easily resume once the account is unfrozen. I think the best way to protect his money right now is for him to stop sending money to this person, and I think he's on track to doing just that.
And what are your thoughts about assisting Noah with supporting his self-care?
Well, I made a referral for him to receive home-delivered meals, and I'm going to connect him with one of our local senior case management programs to help him with his caregiver services, transportation, and medication management. I can find out what needs to be done about his washing machine and guide him with next steps on that.
Okay, this all sounds really good. You've already taken a lot of positive steps in this case, and I appreciate your efforts to help him be safer and protect his money. Now, is there anything else you need on this or from me at the moment?
I think I'm good right now. I'm gonna call and ask him if he would be willing to have a consultation with a legal advocate and about appointing a POA. Based on that conversation, I'll see if he's willing to have an evaluation by a psychologist. If he's unwilling to appoint a POA, I may have to consult with the public guardian.
Well, we have a upcoming cross-regional MDT and the public guardian will be there. So how would you feel about presenting this case for consultation?
Sure.
Great. Okay, well, the MDT is next Thursday, and you have the template for preparing a case consultation. All right, so I'll be interested to hear what happens when we meet for the next supervision. Thanks for all your work on this.
Hello, are you Noah Jackson?
Yep.
My name is Angel Vasquez. I'm a social worker with the county.
I still feel like she's real, and she really needed the money. Are you sure she's not real?
We need to start with the least restrictive interventions first. The idea would be to get him connected with voluntary services,